everybody. We got our first snow. So I decided to come out. So I was really excited to try to be out and be able to see tracks of the animals in the snow, fresh snow. We got about 3 inches last night. So I am out. And I came up to this large field because I was suspecting there'd be some deer in it. And there was a herd of about 6 does that crossed just as I was coming over the hill to look into the field. And they are walking kind of away and parallel to me now, going into the forest. So I'm going to continue walking kind of parallel to them and go down into the forest ahead of them, see if I can set up ahead of them and maybe they'll come past where I set up. I think I might have an idea where they're going, but I'm not too sure. We'll find out. I love the fresh snow because you can see all the little tracks of all the critters that you'd never know were here. It's nice that even though you don't see them, the snow reveals that they are still here, which is nice because sometimes it gets pretty depressing going out and actually not seeing anything at all. But they're still here. Just not out at the right time. Here's another track here. Let's see what this is. This is an older one. Looks like probably deer. There's snow blown into the tracks on that one, so it's not as recent as the other ones. Probably happened overnight before the snow stopped. Spot where they came through. So they're all headed from my right to left. So this was later because They should be coming from my left to right. This is just beautiful. I found a spot to sit that looks like it's a bit of a deer crossing highway. There's at least 5 or 6 sets of tracks that cross kind of in front of me coming down from the hill. They look like they are older, kind of that happened earlier this morning, because there's ice in the bottom of the tracks. So that makes me think that they're probably a little older, but they're still fresh. So I'm going to just sit here and see. All the tracks I've seen so far look like they're older, like they happened earlier this morning. So I'm hoping that that means the deer that I saw in the field haven't come past my spot yet. And since there's a lot of tracks in this area, I'm thinking that maybe they might come back through this area. I'm not sure, but I'm hopeful. Well, I've been sitting here for about 15 minutes now. Haven't had any sign of activity from the deer. So I'm going to continue on down the trail, which kind of goes down towards where they went into the woods in the first place. Because they could just be bedding down up closer that way, closer to the edge of the forest. So I'm going to head over that way. I have heard some birds, and there's actually a kingfisher chattering away behind me on the reservoir. I think it flew on the opposite side of the river now, but things are coming out and about, and the sun's coming out, so we'll see. Maybe we'll be able to find some stuff. I think the deer that I found earlier this morning definitely did already pass through here. These are fresh tracks. This definitely just happened very recently, so it looks like they already passed through, which is a bummer. But I'm going to continue on down this path. So I heard a kingfisher down the reservoir, and as I was walking down the trail, I saw one sitting on this branch that's sticking out in the water. So I stopped. They're very skittish, so it flew up into the trees along the bank farther. But then as I set up, another kingfisher came from my left and flew and started chasing the other one. And they flew farther down the reservoir. So I'm hoping that if I sit here now, one will come back onto this stick, because it's a perfect stick that's sticking out and is actually in the water. So it's a perfect perch. So I'm hoping one will come back. But I hope it comes back quick because the wind coming off this water, oh, it's really cold. So I'm sitting here waiting for the kingfisher to come through, and a bald eagle came over. It's completely on the other side of the reservoir, but it's perched on a branch. Let's see if you can see this or not. Just hoping it's gonna fly over this way. There's so much air in between me and him that the whole picture's just distorted. So this is awesome. I saw the big bird flying along the lull on the water. I knew it was an eagle. So let's see what it does. I was sitting there for almost an hour. The kingfishers did not come back my direction. I haven't even heard them chattering anymore. So I think they moved on down farther. And the bald eagle sat there for a few minutes, but then took off and flew back farther away from me. So that's a bummer, but that's awesome. I haven't seen a bald eagle here since I've been here this year, so that's awesome that they're still around. I've seen them in the past, and I'll definitely remember that spot for kingfishers because that's a perfect perch for them. So maybe if I come out, get out a little earlier and set up there, I'm pretty sure that they'll come and perch there, because in the past I've seen them actually have a nest almost directly across the reservoir. There's a steep bank that they've nested in the past. So I'm gonna move on, see if anything's out and about up here. Snowing again. I am at this little pond. It's kind of partially frozen over. I'm kind of surprised there's no waterfowl on it. But as I was coming down, I heard another kingfisher. I was still behind a bunch of trees, was able to see which tree it was on, and it flew off. So I came down a little bit farther to this opening where I am now sitting, and I'm hoping that it'll come back. I've seen it here before, I photographed it here before, so I'm hoping that if I just sit here it'll come back. There's a lot of perches for it. But actually, as I was setting up my stool and tripod, I saw two bald eagles soaring in the air, and they kind of circled back and went away from me, so I'm hoping maybe they'll come back over. So there's a lot of activity. It's just one of those things where they're not quite close enough to be able to photograph. So that's the perfect spot. It's beautiful. I'm just gonna sit. Maybe some waterfowl will come. There's a red-tailed hawk screeching across the reservoir to my right as well. So there's a lot of activity. You just have to wait, and hopefully something will come along. And it's perfect time for some tea. Well, it's been about an hour and a half. I've been sitting here, and no kingfisher. There was a pileated woodpecker that came and flew over and is in the trees somewhere in front of me. But that's really the only activity that there's been. So I'm going to leave this spot, head back up to the field, and see if anything's out and about up there. So it's unfortunate I haven't seen much today, but I mean, it's still nice to get out and enjoy the fresh snow. All the snow is falling off the trees, so everything looks really pretty. I hiked around the rest of the pond and took in the beautiful scenery. While I didn't find much wildlife this morning, the winter has just started and I will have more opportunities to photograph animals in the snow. I hope you enjoyed the beautiful scenery as much as I have, and I will see you next time.